Alright, once again, welcome to Jack Slayter Notes. We have to postpone the Assam and its people ongoing series of history, geography, polity, and everything in between economics or art, architecture, or cultural things. We have to postpone that because suddenly there's this there's this announcement of Ctet that's going to happen on 5th and 6th September or 7th or 8th, I think. Yeah, 7th, 8th or anyway, first week of September. Mm, so because of that, and there's no new appointment announcement regarding Assam Tet or GTPGT, so we are doing anyway. So we have to do what's most recent and what's the possibility of the exam. So we are doing right now Ctet. So we are going to do social studies and CDP section. So first, let's um, look into the not previous year but this year's question paper that where the exam happened on February 8th, and so we are going to do this anyway. So welcome to Just Little Notes. And so for Ctet exam, child development and pedagogy. So it's this paper is February 7th 2026 exam, paper 1, that is. So there's like 6 paper altogether. Normally there were 4 CDP paper because of the if happens like 2 shift exam, 2 days exam, there's earlier there were happened like 2 paper because like paper 1 and paper 2 CDP. So nowadays there's too many applicants, so they take like 2 days. So that gives like 4 paper. So paper 1, paper 2 of 1 day. So like this one February 7th, paper 1, paper 2 February 8th, paper 2. But this year is even more because there was a re-exam situation that happened on March 1, which has like different papers. So together there will be 6 paper of CDP. Anyway, without wasting time, let's start. Question number 1 was, Rama was mean to her brother Tahir. Next day Tahir got sick. Rama concluded that she made her brother sick. According to Piaget, whose state of cognitive development is Rama in? Pre-operational, concrete operational, formal operational, or sensory motor operational? That's the answer is pre-operational stage. That is the first stage. Second stage where she is able to a cause and effect, understand that she was able to. Yes, dash is the process by which children become aware of their gender roles. It's gender typing, of course, I think. Yes, gender typing. Society, gender is something society gives, and sex is something that is biological. We are going to do this elaborate, in our coming session. This is just the question paper that appears on February 7th. So we are not going to do elaborate on that because we after that 6 paper we are going to do elaborate descriptive stuff. Anyway, which of the following scenarios is aptly describing the application of Lev-Vygotsky concept of scaffolding? It is scaffolding meaning, temporary help or was someone with more powerful, more knowledgeable others. MKO, give some when a pupil or a student stuck there, help them to, overcome that difficulties. So a teacher strictly prohibits student to have any kind, no, that is not scaffolding. A teacher who has written answer on the blackboard and no, that's also not scaffolding. A teacher has made it mandatory for a student to solve problems on their own, not really. A teacher gave half solved problems to a student who are finding it difficult to solve them otherwise. So answer is going to be 4. A teacher giving half solved problems to their students who were finding it difficult to solve them otherwise. Alright, question number 4. Progressive education is an educational philosophy that emphasizes on. So progressive education is something that is it's in the name progressive, that is more advanced and more meaningful learning type of situation. So that has to be student-centered learning, and active participation. Not rote memorization is a negative thing. Standardized test is on negative. Competitive and individualism. We don't want competition in students. We want, you know, individual ability. Student-centered learning and active participation is the answer. Yes. Question number 5. Read the following statement: assertion and reasoning. That's something very fine. Children progress from understanding consequences of act to determine whether they are good, bad, to understanding that rules and laws are flexible and can be changed. Reason is, according to Colbert, children morals development occurs in continuous manner and not in continuous. So, choose the correct option. Both A and R are true. R is not the correct explanation of A. Or A is true, R is false. Both A and R are false. Both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. So anyway, children progress from understanding consequences of effect to determine whether they are good or bad. To understand that rules can be flexible or can be changed. Okay, Kohlberg is wrong. So Kohlberg 1 is wrong. So R is false. I is true because that is what the thing. But it's the moral. The moral development is a discontinuous one. It's some you can, a kid can be morally great, but a old man cannot be. So it doesn't happen in a sequential manner. Question number 6. According to Lev Vygotsky, cognitive development is guided by process of attention and perception, assimilation and accommodation that changes schemas. That is the answer actually. Wait a second. No, that is not the answer. That is Piaget theory. Lev Vygotsky cognitive development is guided by language in the form of a private speech, because that's what his whole thing is. Private speech is language is form of private speech. What you think inside, and then you put it into words. Question number 7. Which of the following intelligence helps people to perceive, express, understand, and regulate moods and feelings of others? So it's interpersonal intelligence, because intelligence that requires other people. If that said intrapersonal, INTRA, that is who knows himself metacognitionally or whatever, he knows himself, and others, that is interpersonal. So feelings and people perceive, understand, regulate mood and feelings of others. So if the question was feelings of himself, then it would be intra, but others interpersonal. Yes. Question number 8. A child's first experience as well as expectations of what it means to be girl or boy comes from family, because it has to come from family. Family is the first and immediate society for a kid and how things were. So what are expectations and whatever comes from. So you don't really, if you get a girl, you don't expect her to become like a something that is boys are good at. So girl has certain expectation and boys got their different expectations. So answer is family. Question number 9. An essential characteristics of formative assessment is options, test and exam. Okay, this question came twice. Test and exam at the end of the year, that is summative, of course. Clarification assessment criteria to the learner. Okay, to focus on quality means to achieve objective, to assign relative ranks and position to learn, that is also summative. So to 1 and 3, clarification assessment criteria to the learners. To focus on quantitative means to achieve objectivity. What is the answer? Okay, this question came twice. The answer is to focus clarification of assessment criteria to the learners. That is, while formative assessment is while the teaching is going on, you can ask the question to the teacher, or teacher can ask you question to understand that if you understand it or whatever. So that's why formative is ongoing assessment, but summative is at the end of the year or at the end of the session. Question number 10. Dysgraphia is a personality disorder, physical disability. It's a learning disability that relates disability in writing. So dyslexia when you have the disability in reading, and dysgraphia is learning disability that happens with the inability or difficulty in writing. So that's a learning disability. Question number 11. A teacher should cater to dash need of gifted children in the classroom. Cognitive and emotional, cognitive and social. Cognitive, social and emotional. Answer is so the answer is cognitive, social and emotional. A teacher should cater to all the needs of the gifted children. Question number 12. Okay, answer is cognitive, social, and emotional. Question number 12. Which of the following are examples of pedagogical approach of teach students with learning disabilities? Use of multisensory strategies, of course, you have to use that. Standardized learning, no, that's a no go term. Flexible and sequential instruction, true. Breaking down tasks, so answer is 2. You can cancel 2, so wherever there is no 2 you can choose that. 3 4 1 3 4, so 1 3 4, the answer is going to be 2. Answer is 2, yes, 1 3 4. Question number 13. Which of the following statement about the autism spectrum disorder is correct? Sensory integration and regulation help children with autism spectrum disorder. Yes, it is primarily the ability to hear that is affected in autism spectrum disorder. Okay, children with autism disorder exhibit a preference for new stimuli every day. Not particularly. Children with autism spectrum disorder have excellent communication skill but very poor memory. That is also not true. So the only true is the answer one. Sensory integration and regulation help children with autism spectrum disorder. Yes. Question number 14. While teaching in inclusive setups, it is important that teacher continuously examine their own implicit and preconceived bias. Yes, that is the most important one, because if the teacher is somewhat biased, or in all over the country you see there's some religious conflict with the teacher, so if he cannot do that, that's going to be a problem in inclusive setup. So the answer is of course 1, but let's read the rest of the option. Understand special children as needy and depend on others. Not really. Follow same curriculum. No, you cannot follow same curriculum for all the students because of the inclusive. See, diversity as you can never see diversity as an obstacle. Diversity is an opportunity. So answer is 1. Continuous examining their own implicit and preconceived bias. Question number 15. Read the following statement. Assertion. Teachers should include a variety of children's literature to create print-rich environment in the class. That is correct. Of course, a teacher needs to do that. And classroom rich is in literacy materials are and literacy material and literacy experiences are central to effective learning. So that is also true, because if the only thing that would say, if the reasons had like classroom region literacy materials only, then it's going to be a no go. But as it's also said literacy experiences are central, so then it is both of them are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. Yes, both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. Question number 16. In order to facilitate students learning in a progressive classroom, a teacher should emphasize on the practice of reflective thinking. Not passive reflection or obedient listening or behavior condition. Answer is reflective thinking. That is to go on and the student teacher pattern. You have to understand that there's going to be go once back and forth situation. All right. Question number 17. Seeing Raman, a 4th grade student, stuck on a question, his teacher asked him to try the solution while speaking what is going on in his mind. Such verbalization is likely to be helpful because language facilitates through thought process. Language facilitate thought process. Yes, when you say things out loud, you hear them and brain process them. So that is true. Supportive only for students with learning disability because they have become, no, not really. It doesn't have to be a disabled student. A normal student can do that. Unproductive because language and thought are not related. No, that's totally wrong. Futile because language hinders or no. The answer is 1 because it helps. When you say things out loud, sometimes it helps thought process. So answer is helpful because language facilitate thought process. All right. Question number 18. A teacher who believes in constructivist pedagogy should avoid judgment of students only on the basis of socio-cultural backgrounds. Of course, a teacher should any field always, avoid this sort of thing. Promote high level of barbarian. No, not really. Promote ability grouping. No. About answer is obviously one you would want to do constructive about judgment of students only on the basis of their socio-cultural backgrounds or any sort of backgrounds. Question number 19. Active engagement of learners implies that students rote memorize fact and information, actively value mark, consider it as a sole source of knowledge, or inquire, explore, and question. So when there is active engagement, the answer is of course a student wants to inquire, explore, and he questions his problems. So answer is inquire, explore, and question. Question number 20. Radha reasons clothes dry faster in the sun than in the shade, so the sun is helping them to dry. She is showing an understanding of course, cause and effect, because the cause sun and the effect is dryness. Reversible thinking, decentration, animalism, or cause and effect. Answer is of course cause and effect. Question number 21. Which of the following is an example of intrinsic motivation? Playing a game for the prize money? No, that is extrinsic motivation. When you have a exterior motive to do the game of the prize. Playing a sport for personality, that is intrinsic. You are doing something for your own self, happiness or self enjoyment or self, what do you other call it, like peace or enjoyment or self happiness. Yes, that is. Completing homework to avoid being scolded by parents, that is of course external force. Studying for a test to get good marks, that is also for reward. So answer is playing sports for personal enjoyment. Question number 222. Read the following statement. Assertion. Teacher who believe in constructivist pedagogy should provide a lot of materials to the children. Sure, why not? Student can learn and do their own if teacher give them materials, not the solved paper or question answer materials. You have to differ from that. If they says that answers to all the questions teacher gives, so that's not constructive pedagogy. Reason. Young children depend solely on verbal instruction and lectures for meaningful learning. No. Young children solely never depend on verbal instruction. They have many sorts of things. So both A and R are true. R is the not correct expression of A. A is true, R is false. A is true, of course, R is false. Answer is A is true, R is false. Question number 23. Avoiding the appearance of low ability in front of peers and teachers is an example of avoiding its performance approach or avoidance goals, I think, because if you are going for mastery goals, then you don't even care about that. You just so it's performance avoidance goals. Yes. Question number 24. Which of the following is an effective way to promote critical thinking in classroom? Option. Discouraging student from asking questions, that is not effective way of critical thinking. And encourage student to think independently, question. Yes, that is the correct answer. Let's read other two. Providing student with set of, no, not really, that is not. Encouraging route, no. Encouraging route is totally negative word. So you have to do is encouraging student to think independently and questioning assumptions. Question number 25. Read the following statement. Assertion. Some children have characteristics that resembles their parents, while others are markedly different from their parents. Reason. Working out how much of any characteristics is due to nature or genes and how much is due to nurture or environment is a complex issue. Obviously that is a complex issue because you have no idea if it is some 50-50 or 20-30 or 70-60, so 70-30, sorry, 60-40. So that's the thing. Yes, that is true, and that is a correct explanation of reason is a correct explanation of assertion. Yes. Question number 26. Which of the following statement about development is correct? Options. Development is a simple and unitary process. Nope, never. Development is all measured precisely. Not really. Development is multidimensional and multi-directional. That is your answer. Development is children can predict behavior. Not really. Answer is multidimensional and multi-directional. You have no idea what's going on in their head. Question number 27. Read the following statement. Assertion. The ability to comprehend and speak depends on the physical development of the mouth and brain. Yes, of course. Emotional development is related to physical growth. Yes, sometimes always emotional development is, so it's correct explanation of it. Question number 28. Most children can speak 5 coherent sentences at the age of 3. Of course, when you are 3 years old, you can speak 5-6 coherent sentences or 5 sentences. You don't have to use any other way. Question number 19. As per Lev Vygotsky, as children grow their language develop from obviously. Private speech to ecosystem, no. Answer silent speech to thinking loud, not really. Thinking out loud to inner speech, because when you see, that is the answer. When you were a kid, you can every task you can mimic, and it's like you are transitioning that from child to growing up is you are more getting more silent and silent, because when you are a kid you have to scream and shout every task you are doing. Oh, I am reading, you are rhyming, you are screaming your head out, and as you grow older everything's become inner speech. So the answer is 3, thinking out loud to inner speech as children grows. Yes, that's the curse of being a grown up. You can never be child again. Piaget described cognitive development as occurring at. He described cognitive development in 4 qualitatively different stages, not a continuous manner, but not 3 progressive stages or a conflicted 8 stage. Not really. He described it in 4 qualitatively different stages. Anyway, thank you for watching. So yeah, study hard, works out, and yes. So the thing is, we are doing this because we are going to start, after finishing the question from previous year or previous year, let's say this year, we are not going to do like 4-5 years of previousness. We don't want that, just recent, like this year's February's questions, because uh, anyway, you have to get the idea of what sort of question. That's why we did, like, we are going to do like 6 paper of this, and from 7th we are going to try to do pedagogy and social studies, different question after the question paper of this. So anyway, thank you for watching. Like, share and subscribe to the channel. That is Jack Slayter Notes. We are predominantly into giving you notes, not explaining things, but yeah. Anyway, study hard, work smart, and goodbye, and have a nice day. Thank you.